We are on. Okay. Welcome, everyone. Today is Wednesday, February 15th, 2023. We are here for the regular trustee meeting. Mrs. Kraft, can you please call the... Oh, I'll call this meeting to order. Mrs. Kraft, can you please call the roll?
Sure. Mrs. Faust?
Here.
Ms. Knapp?
Here.
Mr. Grumbles?
Here.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I think the pledge, or the flag moved because of our business appreciation breakfast, which we'll chat about super quick here, that we had last Thursday. We had a great event put on by the Township and Sydney, our events coordinator. So wonderful time. We had representatives from the community, from the county. It was wonderful. So thank you to everybody who came. Thank you for everybody who helped. Okay. Do we have any public comment? Okay, hearing none. Are there any other general announcements? I did want to speak real briefly on the car accident / explosion that we had here in the township last week. My understanding is that 23 and Gooding and Orange Point were shut down for a little bit today to begin the reestablishment of the traffic signals. Also very much wanted to thank our fire department and the great work they did getting that fire taken care of. It was closed down for about an 8-hour period of time. They got the fire out as quickly as possible. They responded very quickly. There was no loss of life. There was no, Chief, correct me if I'm wrong, no very much injuries from it. Everybody checked out and injuries, but everybody's going to be okay. Great. So thank you to our fire staff. The reason that it took so long to reopen the road is because we weren't sure of, obviously there was chemicals that were in the truck that caused the explosion, and we had to bring in hazmat people, and they came from North Carolina, so they were able to be on scene about 8 p.m. Came and told us, what needed to be done so that the vehicles could be removed from the site, and then the street was back open about 10:15 that night. So thank you to all of our partners, county, ODOT, fire, everybody for that situation going as well as it could have. So we're grateful for that. Are there any agenda changes, Michelle?
There is one agenda change, I believe, and I would go under administrative report. And I know this one thing's multitasking, but is that involving the gas aggregation?
Oh, you have it.
This will, under administration report, will be the renewal of electric aggregation program, and then we will be. I thought that was already on the agenda. I thought that was already on. I think the printers is already on the agenda. Oh, we're removing the Mid Ohio Strategic Technologies, the new printers.
And we're revising the title. On the agenda was revising and or increasing permanent appropriations, and it's really advanced from the general fund. So,
thank you. Did we have any questions on the consent agenda?
No, I wanted to add one item to the silences report. I wanted to talk about overnight parking at cemeteries.
Okay. Did we have any questions on the consent agenda?
No.
All right, Mr. Grumbles? Okay. I make a motion to approve Resolution 23-51, approving the electronic record of the proceedings from the organizational regular meeting held on February 1st, 2023, and make a motion to approve Resolution 23-52, approving purchase orders, then and now purchase orders, and blanket purchase orders as listed.
Second.
Mr. Grumbles?
Yes.
Ms. Knapp?
Yes.
Mrs. Faust?
Okay. Now we have our development and zoning report. Mr. Duffy.
Thank you, Madam Chair. All right, on the zoning hearings and meetings report, we will start off with a meeting shortly after this one, Wednesday, February 15th at 5 p.m. This is the continuation of the Aldea rezoning request on Lewis Center Road and proposed Green Meadows Drive. We have a Board of Zoning Appeals meeting tomorrow evening. There are 3 cases on that agenda. 2 of them are continued from the previous month's hearing. Those are both for the construction of residential pools to encroach into the rear yard setbacks. One on Ivy Street and one on Greenspire Drive. And then 1 conditional use application for a home occupation on Macumber Lane. And then finally, we do have a work session with our zoning commission next Tuesday, February 21st, for the overlay application that we've received.
Did the properties that are requesting a setback variance, did they revise their submittal?
I believe so, yes. And if there are no more questions, we do have one resolution before you. And this was due to an error of my own, so I apologize for that. When we appointed our zoning commission member for this year, I mistakenly put the term as if it was a full term. He is finishing out the term of one other member who has resigned. So this updated resolution will reflect that. His term, Mr. Ivanil's term, will end at the conclusion of this year, 2023.
Have any questions?
No.
Okay. I make a motion to approve resolution 23-53, amend zoning commission appointment.
Second.
Mr. Grumbles,
Yes.
Ms. Knapp,
Yes.
Mrs. Faust.
Yes. Okay. Operations, Mr. Bowers.
Thank you much. A couple exciting pieces on today's agenda. First, I'll start with the consensus to move forward with Bale Canyon Phase 1. The county recently finalized awarding the contract, or I guess bidding the contract and reviewing all those, and excited to bring that to the board tonight with an idea to accept the bid, and issue a notice of award and notice to proceed to the selected contractor. The great news on that is the bids did come in slightly under the estimates from the county engineer's office. I also like to give them a nod as well, just as we've talked many times. The county engineers have been a great resource and a great help in a lot of different areas. And I know this Bale Canyon project has been a long time coming, but we're very excited to get this one in motion. And I know Doug Riedel's here if there's questions on that or anything we need to dive into on Bale Canyon. Next item on the agenda is the Aquatic Center management bids. We opened bids a week and a half or so ago, and would like to move forward as a recommendation with Columbus Pool Management for a new 3-year contract. In the backup items, you'll see that starts with year 1 at $359,000 and some change. It then goes up for years 2 and year 3. As a reminder, those costs are reflective of the increase in wages that we discussed late last year when we opted to go back out to bid. So that is before you as well. And then another big one that's been waiting for a while is accepting the Lewis Center Trail Phase 3 bid and issuing the purchase order. Again, this is a project that has been awarded a couple different grants. It's also been sitting in various states of disarray for a few years, so we're excited to get that in motion. We've already begun working on tree removals, and there's some private utilities being relocated as we speak. So a little bit of action up there going on currently, but would like to formalize the bid there and award that to Double Z and get that project in motion. And then the last, I guess not the last thing now, but the last thing that I had on the agenda is REA for Olentangy Crossings East. This is due to discussions with the engineer's office on how to strategize some of the striping and paving that's going on this summer, which be done under the TIF agreement, and figure out if some additional traffic studies are necessary as we look to restripe and repave the area there. Hasn't been touched in a good decade or so, so it's kind of time to look at maybe some additional left turn lanes or additional crosswalk striping, things of that nature. So the RA is to authorize Michelle to enter into an agreement to have the county engineers study that a little more. And then I know Ms. Knapp wanted to add something as well.
Oh, yes. I've had some complaints about the overnight parking at the cemeteries.
Which one?
The one, the Williamsville one.
Okay.
And I guess someone's parking their truck cab. You know how sometimes people park things overnight. And I talked to Julie, and she said that we could add those restrictions. We can work on it, but we can add those restrictions to our cemetery rules, so people could not park their vehicles there overnight.
Okay.
Is that right, Julie? Do you want to explain that? I was absent from the last meeting due to a minor emergency.
So the process for that would be creating the rule and updating your cemetery rules. And then you would have to publish for general circulation once a week for 2 consecutive weeks. So, but prohibiting overnight parking is and we can chat about that.
Okay.
It probably doesn't happen often, but it would just nip it in the bud while it's happening.
Who would enforce that? Would it be the county sheriff's office?
So that would, they have to have it would either be the sheriff's office or would have to be predatory.
But did you say it might be a misdemeanor?
Correct. Yep.
Would there be signage that we can post? Yeah.
So I know in the world of zoning, removing a vehicle is pretty challenging. So this is something.
But I think that's if it's on a public roadway usually, or
Okay.
if it's like in
So-
front of the front setback. If it's in front of the front setback, I think if it's in the front yard, you can tow it. But I think if it's in the back, you can't, right? Or if it's in the driveway or something, I think because that's private property.
I just know like the
I know it's awful.
sessions with like what we learned about junk
Emails, don't get me
vehicles.
started, yeah. You can almost not tow any vehicle, even if it has no steering wheel. So.
And if the preference would be to work at the sheriff's office, work with them to issue tickets.
Yeah, and we can chat. I just want to make sure everybody else is okay. This shouldn't be too complicated.
Okay.
And that would probably also, because I know they close at a certain time, right? Do our cemeteries close?
Yeah, technically they're like our parks are open from dawn till dusk.
There will be a lot of construction in the nearest future. So.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, people parking, because we've had issues with people like parking dump trucks in random places and then going back to work the next day and picking up their dump truck. And I know that's hard to enforce, but I think we could do this. So I'll just bring it back to the next meeting. if that's
Yeah,
okay.
I'll work with Michelle and with Julie on it and we'll see what we can come up with.
Yep. Did want to say just another shout out to the engineer's office. We have been working with them. Myself and Ms. Bonnie and Mr. Bowers met with them in Berlin Township last week, and just the collaboration is great. So we very much appreciate everybody working together and coming to the table and having conversations and figuring things out. So thank you guys. Okay, so do we have consensus to move forward with the notice of award for Vail Canyon?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right, I make a motion to approve Resolution 23-54, authorizing the Director of Operations to accept the 2023 through 2025 North Orange Aquatic Center pool management bid from Columbus Pool Management and enter in an agreement with Columbus Pool Management for 2023, 2024, and 2025, and issue a purchase order in the amount of $359,802.
Second?
Mr. Grumbles?
Yes.
Ms. Knapp?
Yes.
Mrs. Faust?
Yes.
What was the increase?
I don't have the exact percent from me. I think it was 40-ish% from the end of the last contract.
Was
that we
it what,
terminated.
270 at the last, 250 the last contract?
Yeah, it's right around 250 something, I believe, off the top of my head.
That's
254.
Annually or not?
This is our annual contract.
And
yes.
it goes up year 3 at almost 400,000.
Yes.
So they've got an increasing annually.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
For the next 3 years. And on a side note, I was going to mention this on my thing anyways, but Silas and I are working together to kind of figure out, project forward what the costs are. So as you guys have the discussion, we're not just randomly pulling numbers out of the air as far as what the pool rates should be. So his team and I my team are already working on that. So
You'll pull area rates.
yeah, his team's going to do the area rates. I think they've already started that.
Yep.
And then we'll work with the expenses and figure it out from there. Yeah.
Okay, I make a motion to approve Resolution 23-55, authorizing the Director of Operations to accept the Lewis Center Trail Phase 3 bid from Double Z Construction Company and enter into an agreement with Double Z Construction Company and authorizing the issuance of a purchase order in the amount of $443,836.60.
Second?
Mr. Grumbles?
Yes.
Ms. Knapp?
Yes.
Mrs. Faust?
Just for the record, the backup item for the the purchase order for Lewis Center Trail Phase 3, we just had to add account numbers on that, so it is a little different when you see that when it's ready for signature.
That's just for clarification. It's due to the amount of grants that we have tied to the Bale Canyon project as well as the Lewis Center 3 project. The way that fiscal is structuring that, there's a reimbursement thing, so the additional account numbers will be reflected on the purchase orders.
And just about the pool, like I would never want it to necessarily, I don't think it needs to break even necessarily because it's an amenity and not everybody uses. I don't use it, but it's not like we charge our residents to use our trails or to use our parks or soccer fields. We don't, those are all amenities that different people use. So I think if we were to absolutely cover our costs, that would make it too expensive to even afford.
We'll run those numbers and figure that out. And my gut tells me it'll be somewhere in the middle is where you guys want to settle. I mean, we have a parks levy to pay for things like this, right? But how much of that parks levy money do you want to use for the pool? It's what it's going to come down to.
I just want to keep that in mind.
Okay. The Olentangy Crossing. Make a motion to approve Resolution 23-56, authorizing Township Administrator execution of a request for engineering assistance with the Delaware County Engineers Office regarding Olentangy Crossing East.
Okay.
Mr. Grumbles?
Yes.
Ms. Knapp?
Yes.
Mrs. Faust?
Yes.
Which specific, I was trying to envision that of 23.
Is it over by Kroger? Just north of Kroger?
This would be primarily the north section of Olentangy Crossings East, coming directly west out of Olentangy High School parking lot.
Okay.
So a lot of backup
That
there
helps.
during heavy times. Considering just exploring double left turn lanes, exploring crosswalk. There's a lot of foot traffic in the area with kids coming and going different places during and after the school day. So just really exploring options before we pave it and stripe it to make sure we're up with the times.
Got it. So it's essentially in front of the Kroger where the joint road is to the high school. And
Yes.
There'll be a lot of additional traffic coming as they do that development.
Well, development, and then I think also just in general right now, it probably queues up pretty bad at peak
Yeah.
periods.
Yep.
That's a good point too.
I like the double left turn.
Okay, thanks.
Chief, did you have anything for fire?
Nothing for as far as on the agenda. However, I did want to bring up that this past weekend we had a rescue. There was a individual on a kayak at Elm Creek that fell in. Someone luckily saw him, and within 10 minutes we had him in a boat. So our firefighters working with Berlin also, we were able to get there in about 10 minutes, go down the water and get to the individual before he went under. He was really tired, exhausted from he couldn't get back in the kayak, but he did survive. So, just wanted to point that out.
Yes, thank you.
Was he wearing a life?
No, he was not.
Just curious.
Not trying to shame him. Just curious.
Okay, Mrs. Kraft.
Okay. You'll see my disclaimer there that for those that don't know, I have to publish in the newspaper every year that I have filed the report. So that's what went in the newspaper, that end of financial report that we completed the report, and it's on file in my office in case anybody ever wants to see it. So just to recap, we ended 2022 with $26,742,492.54. Investments were $10.8 million with Fifth Third and $12.8 with Star Ohio for $23.6 million in investments. Our cash balances by fund, general was at 7.9, roads at 2.8, fire at 6.4, parks at 5.7 million, with total expenses of 17.5 versus revenue of 19.3 million. And Delaware County Foundation balance was $90,492.72. As I think I put in a previous email, just remember that expenses and revenue would have been a break even had we not received those COVID or those ARP funds. So just something to keep in mind. Okay. As far as January bank, January numbers, our ending cash numbers were very similar at $26,154,871.94 with another $23.6 million in investments. I don't know where those numbers are coming from. Those fund status numbers are not right. So I will have to talk to Todd about what he did there. Yeah. I'll come back to you on that. Expenses were 0.8 million, revenue was 0.2 million, and our foundation balance only changes every quarter, so nothing new from there.
And remind us when the revenue comes.
Revenue should be in early March. So I did have to transfer $1 million over to Star Ohio. Our First Commonwealth Bank balance got down to about 1.3 million. I don't like it to get that low, especially when your payroll's $200 and some thousand every other week. So I did transfer $1 million out of Star Ohio to kind of cover that gap while we wait on additional funds from the treasurer's office. And then next, so to Silas's point about all these grants, we had an audit finding. So my first audit was last year. Well, no, 2022 we did the audit. Yeah, so last year. So or 2021 rather. And in that audit, there was a finding from before me about grants and how to account for grant money. So we weren't doing it right, and they said you have to set up all these grant funds to show the money coming in. It's just like a transaction to show that you got the money from someplace and then you sent the money right back out. So because of that, we had to set up all those grant funds as part of our beginning of year budget process. And we're still working with the auditor of state. We've got another email into Cindy McCaffrey because Silas is doing such a great job getting grants, we might have to set up like another 4 grant funds. So we're talking to the auditor of state to see, can we do it a little differently? Can we just set up a generic transportation grant fund and have different object codes or what? I don't think we can, but we're going to ask the question just so we don't end up with 20 million grants, but funds. But if we do, we do. Silas, good job. Yeah, thanks for getting the grant money.
Any of the department heads? Anybody?
Anybody can get grant money. So then the resolution in front of you today is to show, since he's starting the Lewis Center Trail Grant, we need to advance from general to this grant. And then once we get the money from ODNR Clean Ohio Trails Grant, it will come back into that fund and then transfer back out to general. So
back into the grant fund and then back.
Yeah, so you show it going from one to the grant and then from the grant back.
Do we pay bills out of the grant fund for that work?
Yes, we will. Mm-hmm. Yes. So that's just, we don't get the grant till the work is done. So that's why we move the money over so we can pay those bills. Okay. So that's what this, worked with Chris Betts on this, and this is the resolution he came up with. So there's 2 of them, one for $300,000 from ODNR Clean Ohio Trails Grant Fund, and the other is from the Recreation Trails Grant Fund, and that one's for $25,000. So that's the 2 resolutions you have in front of you.
Any questions? Okay. I make a motion to approve Resolution 23-57, authorizing the fiscal officer to advance $300,000 from the general fund to the ODNR Clean Ohio Trails Grant Fund for construction of the Lewis Center Trail Phase 3 project.
Second.
Mr. Grumbles?
Yes.
Ms. Knapp? Mrs. Fowles?
Yes. I make a motion to approve Resolution 23-58, authorizing the fiscal officer to advance $25,000 from the general fund to the Recreation Trails Grant Fund for construction of the Lewis Center Trail Phase 3 project.
Second. Mr. Grumbles?
Yes.
Ms. Knapp?
Yes.
Mrs. Fowles?
Yes.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Administration report, Ms. Bonnie?
All right. Yes, I'm going to go one at a time as there's a couple of our leaders helping me with these items. As mentioned, we removed the Mid-Ohio Strategic Technologies, and we're just not ready with the contract on that. The second item is a correction to the November 21st, 2022 Trustee Journal. As we were organizing, so one of Leanne Newman, she does a resolution log, keeping track of all of our resolutions each year, and we noticed that there were quite a few duplicates of numbers from last November's journal. And so this resolution is to correct all those, and we apologize, but I think this will clean it up, and we know what numbers to use moving forward. Following that, we have some February birthdays and anniversaries I'd like to announce. So firefighter Hadley Gaber. Okay. Her birthday was February 1st. Firefighter Paul Cates, February 7th. Firefighter Donnie Pettis, February 11th. Robin Duffy, our zoning director, February 12th, Sunday. And then today is Leah Lofrezos, our administrative assistant and receptionist, today, February 15th. And firefighter Jeffrey Mitchell, February 25th. Have some bigger anniversaries this month too. So Aaron James is his 12 years. He celebrated on February 9th. Aaron Hollenbach, firefighter, 18 years. Eric, sorry, excuse me. 18 years on February 7th. And our lieutenant of fire prevention, Mike Clark, 18 years on February 16th. And then the next item is our Ohio Health Employee Assistance Program that I would like Mike Kremnitzer to touch on.
Good afternoon, trustees. So before you today is an opportunity for the township to, I think, expand and offer a robust employee assistance program through Ohio Health, which I believe to be a great partner. So what this program will allow us to do is provide a no-cost option for employees and their dependents for up to 6 counseling sessions, either in person or telehealth, basically, per year. There's orientation that's provided. There's a lot of other services that go along with this EAP, which I think is a great opportunity for us, especially when you look at mental health, emotional health in the country, specifically in the workplace. I think for us to offer something like this for our folks, and given that we have a high number of our employees that are firefighters that deal with emergency services, I think would be a great thing for them. The cost to the township, roughly $6,000 per year, which those funds have been appropriated. Be glad to take any questions.
What's the difference between this and the regular insurance?
So the way I would describe it, we kind of have bronze, silver, and gold. So there is a non-in-person 3-visit that is part of our Mutual of Omaha life insurance policy. So basically telehealth. Above that, through our Anthem coverage, through our health insurance, there's in-person opportunities at a copay cost of $30 to the employee for every visit. This, I would say, is the gold in the bronze, silver, and gold standard, which is a no-cost option for employees and dependents up to 6 per year.
They go and they like it, go to the 6 visits, then they can extend that into the silver, if you will. Continue to see that.
Correct.
Okay.
But is it true that these appointments are available very quickly? Like if you're having a crisis, that you can call and talk to someone quickly versus, I think the waiting list for therapists and psychologists is several months right now. And so a lot of people experience some kind of trauma and they can't get the help they need because they got to wait months, unless it escalates, and then they get help right away, but maybe not help that they want. So is that true that they can get a more immediate assistance for the first visit or the talk?
Yeah, specifically for crisis situations, there is a specific number that they can call where they will be helped faster.
Is that considered a visit, or?
I would imagine it would be considered a visit, yes.
And it's my understanding is we pay for this whether the employees utilize it or not.
Correct. It's based upon headcount. And so that $6,000 figure is roughly, we have 92 employees.
I would just encourage our employees to take advantage of it if it's a service that we're offering.
Absolutely. And there'd be a rollout. We want to make sure that everybody understands, A, what it is, and B, how to access it. And not just for them, but for the dependents as well.
And that's what I was going to clarify. So if, like, say I wanted to go, do I get 6 and my husband gets 6?
Correct.
Or we get 6 per family?
No, it's 6 per individual.
And is the $6,000, does that include the visits, or is that just the administration fee?
That includes everything.
And this is specific to public sectors, is that correct? This program?
No, not specifically to public sectors.
And is it a specific location? Is it just, or is there any Ohio Health location, or how does?
They have a primary location. I'm trying to, I have it here.
It's local though, at least.
Yeah,
yes.
it's
Okay.
local. Yeah, I don't have
We
it
don't
in
have
front
to
of me.
drive to Cleveland. Or
No, it's local.
I would be in favor of, as long as it's, immediate crisis assistance, because I know I had a family situation like 20 some years ago, and it was really bad, and I needed help at night, and I was able to call someone. I can't remember all the details, but I remember I was able to meet in person a couple of times just to help with it, and it was so great because it was, on an emergency basis, we can get you in. You could have up to 5 visits. I think I only did 2, but the situation with my siblings, and it really worked out well versus, you have no one to help you and at 8 o'clock when the incident happened. So it was very useful. Can you verify that it's a
It says
situation?
there's
Yeah, there's a crisis.
Crisis
Yeah,
number.
crisis number
Yeah, but
specifically for
if
those.
calling outside of scheduled
emergency
hours.
situations.
Leave a message in our home, so we'll return your call on the next business day. But then there's a different number for crisis. So, yeah, let me just double check.
yeah, can you check? I would be in favor of it if it's probably either way, but I'd prefer if it was a crisis line.
And just to clarify, the location is just north of Riverside Methodist.
What's the location called? Does it have a name?
It is Ohio Health Wellbeing Center, 3800 Olentangy River Road.
I think I was able to talk to someone. Maybe it was the next day I came in, but it was much quicker than the help
Oftentimes,
these days.
yeah, you have to get 6 months.
Yeah, it's bad. So yeah, can you let us know? But it sounds like a good plan.
Glad we're able to offer.
Yeah.
It seems fairly cost effective. Yes.
Definitely.
Yeah, I guess I guess they're assuming probably not too many people will use it. All 100 employees, right?
True. And the rates will go up.
Yeah, thank you for looking into
thank you.
that. That means a lot.
Ben, you good?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have 2 other things.
Yep.
So the parade route, that we've had several meetings on nailing that down, and Trustee Faust, if you'd like to chime in, but we are between 2 routes at this point of time. We have had communication with the school district as they are being our great partners and letting us use their facilities for our route. That was actually recommended by the county sheriff's office as well from a safety perspective. So we have in front of you 2 routes, one from Olentangy High School and then one from Orange High School. We have discussed the date, so based on what the trustees request, we will have it on the 4th of July, which is the Tuesday. The school district we can use my understanding either route on the 4th of July.
That's fine.
Okay.
I think it can be just asked about Orange.
If we
We'll
go,
double check.
okay.
And there's a second route. You showed us 1 and 3. There's route number 2. It's around. Pull it up from.
I only have these 2.
So I'll explain it. So route number 2 is around Orange Road, what we see here. However, it's not a closed loop. The difference is that one, like 1.45 miles. I think the other one is 1.19. It would start at the left side of our screen, back behind Olentangy Orange Middle School, where the athletic entrance is, for people who are familiar with that area, and then go out Orange Road and come back in by the soccer fields, basically, and it will end there at the main parking lot. Cindy and I met with Anderson Township, the Cincinnati area, and they are a township that has done a parade for 15-ish years. And one of the recommendations they gave was a shorter parade route was better, just as far as it looks like it's more full, and obviously it's a shorter walk for the participants. So with that one, Michelle, can you go? With that one not closing, obviously there would be some participants that would need to continue back to Orange Middle School to their cars, but it will be different from the most recent parade route that was held in Orange Township, where it started at the soccer fields and went down Walker Road Boulevard, and then all the parade participants had to walk back to basically retrace your steps. So there shouldn't be any retracing. They may have to depending on if they're in the Orange High School football team, cheerleaders, marching band, all that kind of stuff, they'll probably just go out to the school. And we're coming with, my hope is that we can get Olentangy sports and band and that kind of stuff participate as well.
There enough room for everybody?
So as far as participants or spectators?
Both.
So the participants can go all the way on the front side of the middle school, where the top left there, that's the staff parking. So they can put all along there. They can sit all along Orange Road. They can sit all along Walkerwood Boulevard, and then coming up that hill. We will be asking people to park at the high school. If you are a spectator, if you are a participant, we're going to be asking you to park at the separate them. But it used to be along Walkerwood Boulevard, which is where I live, and that was no space. Yes. The other option is Olentangy High School. The downside, the positives of that one is it's closer to more commercial, so people can park at the Kroger and walk in that shopping area, all that kind of stuff. So I did like that. The challenge with that one is it's less of a circle, so then the participants would somehow have to get back to the Shanahan Middle School start.
Where does that one start
It
at?
starts at Shanahan, goes down the school. That road has a name, so I don't know if you know.
That little.
That like access
Access
road, right?
road.
All through the school property. And then it's gonna turn and die at their practice soccer field.
Okay. How many options are there?
Just
Yeah, I have like this.
no, those were ones we had started. We probably started with 6 when we met with the sheriff and fire and roads.
Yeah, because there's
Whoever
like
all
a
we
bunch.
met with. We came out of that meeting and were at an option that was this one, the Angie option, that was none of the original options. So we were very grateful for the fact that we could bring all the parties together, and that we scrapped everything at where we were originally starting.
Oh, okay, because it has. These are all like.
Those were within the residential areas, and if we went with one of those options, you'd have to get a significant more number of special duty officers.
So are those options in this packet? I don't think they are. So I would look at these. These are so there's only two
Just two
options. Okay. Yeah, these are completely different
Yeah.
here.
This was the other Orange Road option. So, I mean, we're going to have, I'm sure this is going to be tweaked, but I guess the question today is, do we want it to go around this area or the other one?
So wait, is this number?
This is option number 2.
So there's only two. There's only.
There's
really 3. There's one at Shanahan and there's 2 around Orange.
Yeah, and so, and what we'll do is we'll send this to the county sheriff and the county engineers, and then the county engineers offer, like a safety or Doug, I'm sorry. I think we mentioned that you guys would provide some recommendations for the route. Is that my understanding?
Yes, we would.
Okay.
Yes.
So this might be tweaked based on what they recommend, but I think the question today is, do we want to have it here at near Olentangy High School or near Olentangy or Orange High School? Excuse me.
Is this? Could you show me the other version of this orange one?
The orange one's a full route.
So do you know how many miles that is?
I think that one's 1.1. And the most recent parade route was like a half a mile. The original parade route, when it started at Serrano's and came up South Old State, was something like 3
Every year.
It was really quite long. And my hope, Lisa, is that we can work with your subdivision to partner and join into our parade. I don't know if they'd be willing to do that or not. But they still want to do
They
their
always
own.
every year it's always 2. I run from one to the other.
I know.
Every year.
Trying to
Even it's
save
very
you.
small, but
We've thrown out the ideas of, is there like a bike parade component of that? I don't think any of that is nailed down yet. You don't want the bikes, kiddos at the end on the bikes to get run by a fire truck.
yeah.
Obviously. So yeah,
They're always good.
process all these things. But we also, when we worked with Anderson, they gave us their documents that they've used, and so that is a huge help to us. So we are very grateful for them being willing to share that, so we're not starting from scratch. Sydney has all that.
Yeah, I probably more for one of the orange ones. And
Okay.
you like the closed, you like the open loop better?
I like the open loop just because I'm afraid that what if no one is like along the back by the football stadium? And again, this is hopefully the first of multiple, right? So then if we need to have it a closed loop,
I don't think, since this is the first time seeing these, I don't think I have a preference yet. Maybe one of the people that have done this, like when Torino did it, it started at Torino's and then it
and
went,
did it orange in the middle.
right? Okay. Yeah, I don't.
And
Depends
I
on
reached
the
out to
people.
the Dr. Cox at the high school, and he wasn't able to get back to me, but I asked him whether he preferred a closed loop or an open loop, because he's obviously done the parade for years and years. Just excited there's a parade back and forth.
So that the first one would go, the other one would go around the fall.
Go back
stage.
behind this.
I kind of, the only reason I would like to close one is there are people from other subdivisions who might want to just shoot back along that
Yeah.
road. I don't have a strong preference, but people might want to hang out there because that way they don't have to go all the way to the front and get. Like I say, we do have a lot of residents. I think a lot of people would walk. So maybe my preference would be the closed one, but I don't have a strong preference at this point. But just so there could be people around.
I mean, I think if we're able to just focus on this area and then
Yeah, definitely.
work with our,
What do you think, Ben? Which one do you like? The orange. I kind of like the orange area because it seems like there are a lot of. There's a little more space to.
It's also where the parade has been, a parade has been. In the
Yes,
orange area
it's a
versus the
traditional
orange.
location.
It's obviously tweaked.
Can you zoom out at all?
this is an exhibit, so I don't have.
I thought there was a different on it. I'm sorry.
And we'll,
I'm fine with the orange location. I like it better. I think the people like it when it's in the going through streets that sitting in front yards and that feel. I think it enjoyable. You invite your friends over if you live on the parade route, and it just felt closer that way. And then
I think this is good in that that we're not doing as much walk over, so there's a lot of the people from north of Orange can walk and people from south of Orange walk. Like how South of the State was really honestly the perfect, quite long and too big of a road now.
the
Yeah.
only challenge on this is you've got 6 houses on the north side of the property, right? So
And I've reached out to one of them, the Espinosas, and I was like, hey, just a heads up, what do you think about a parade going in your front yard? She was like, yeah, that's cool.
Lisa's friends are far right.
So I will send
Right.
communication
You know that?
to the residents,
Mhm.
you know, who are going to be impacted, you know, because they will be unable to get out of their driveway for a little bit.
Correct.
So, but this does cut off the least from all the 8 different routes that we had looked at, 8 or 9. This does impede the least amount of people from getting out of their homes should they need to. It's really just like orange. So we'll be able
like
to.
this because there's so much park.
Yeah, a lot
We
of
had
work.
that stage, remember we staged there for the one parade? And there was tons of room for that.
Well, you guys have done it. Do you think there's enough staging at the athletic entrance to the middle school?
Probably. I think the high school was better.
Yeah.
Because that's where we had, it got pretty full.
And the thing about the closed loop, remember they have to line up all the vehicles, and it would actually start at almost the entrance to the Orange High School parking lot near the middle school and loop all the way around. So you have to allow for them all 40 participants.
Yeah, I almost feel like it'd be better if it started at the high school parking lot and went that way.
Yeah.
You don't think walking that hill is a problem?
I walked uphill both ways to school.
I know, in the snow with the shoes, right?
So I never had a problem with that.
But that might be,
Yeah, I
because,
find that-
wait, didn't it start, last time it started at the high school, right? And it looped all the way
Right
around
down
high
to Walker
school.
Woods and then it ended and we had to all get back. So
It
I
might
guess
be better to start at high school.
that's what I'm saying, because then if it goes around and you go into here to get back to your parking and load up all your golf carts and stuff, you just scoot up the side road and cut over, right? Makes sense what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that way the people that are parked here can just still leave while the parade goes back to the
Yeah, so they would assign you a number like 1 to 50 or whatever, and then they would have 50 cars, and then you would drive around.
Either way,
and
it's
find your
huge.
spot. So you have to allow for like probably one.
I just think it's easier for them to line up on a straight road than it is on the big, on the big.
Yeah,
curve.
it might be, but either way.
I was picturing,
That's
I
a good
haven't done
point.
that, so I need your guys' help. I was picturing it back and forth, almost like a zigzag in the parking lot, but I could be very wrong.
It
I think it's a
went
spot.
it started literally at the
Spot
west side
catcher.
all the way around. There were some zigzags.
That would be.
The problem is when you're trying to find your spot and it's zigzagging, it's better if it's a long line
Okay,
because
good
She
shit.
took my spot.
I know I was parking a spot the one year accidentally, and your spot was behind mine, so I was.
Yeah.
That was
Slashing
fun.
the
That was
tires
fun.
in the 4th of July parade.
Took my spot.
So-
As year she was running against
Okay,
me.
so what I hear is we're good on Orange High School area. We think we like the actually starting at the high school and ending at the middle school. But we don't have to figure all that out at this
just
point.
the
So my
general
hope is
area is
that,
good.
my plan is that we'll put out communication to the community as far as this is where participants go, this is where
Be excited to
spectators
praise
go.
you.
And we
Yeah.
can talk to the people on those roads
We'll
so
let
that
them all know.
they could put, or, we could even offer, if we wanted people to, like, maybe put some cones up or something, like, so they don't park. We might be able to, if they said
I
it was
think,
okay.
I was
to
assuming
go
we're just
forward.
gonna tell people to park at one of the schools.
No, but I mean, the people, if we allow the parking along, or we allow the route along the road, those big houses, sometimes people.
You can also park south on Walker Woods and walk over that.
Which used to have, people used to be all the way down Pleasant
Yeah.
Colony.
Yeah, there's
There's a
parking
lot
for
of
one
parking.
thing, yeah, but I do think a good idea to talk to the residents, because you're right, that those are some big, maybe they'd be okay if people came as long as they don't park and block their driveway.
Right, and I think when it was in my front yard, there was a lot of people that just in my yard that I knew or didn't know, which is part of what it is. So, but,
As long as they don't park.
as long as they don't park in their driveway.
Yeah, it sounds
Okay.
good, yeah,
Thank
it's
you, guys.
great, awesome.
Silas and Sydney and everybody in engineer's office, thank you, Michelle, everyone for your assistance.
Oh.
Val, I know you've been involved too.
And what time is it again, did we set the time yet?
I'm assuming 10 a.m. is what we've been.
10 a.m. Tuesday, 4th of on Tuesday, July
Nice.
4th.
Awesome, all right, thanks.
There we go. Electric.
Yes, and then that was the added item under administrative report, and this is a renewal application for electric governmental aggregation, and this is something that the board is required to file with the Public Utilities Commission of Ohio every 2 years.
Real quick, can we go back to that? Which route did you guys give consensus for? This
I would-
one then?
I would
Is
say
that route two?
Well, I would actually say approved route at Orange High School area.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because we'll tweak it.
Thank you.
Is this the same company that we did before, or is it just, we're not renewing the rates and stuff, right? On the FUCO?
Correct.
No, we didn't have like a last second meeting with us. Figured we wouldn't.
No, Trevella is not here. And that's all I have under administration.
I do have the numbers for my, we put total spend for January instead of fund balances. So general's at 7.8 million, roads at 2.8, fire at 5.8 million, and parks at 5.7. So thank you for letting me.
What's that
Can you
again?
say that again?
Sure, I was fast, sorry. 7.9 million is general, 2.8 million for roads, 6 point, oh no, that's, sorry, I'm reading the ones above
Yeah, I was
it,
like,
I'm
that's
sorry.
what it says already.
7.8 million for general, 2.8 million for roads, 5.8 million for fire, and 5.7 million for parks.
So just two of them were off a little
Yep.
bit.
Yeah, and they might have changed like 10,000. We paid a lot of bills at the 1st of February, so February will show a bigger spend.
Okay, anything else in the administrative report?
No.
Okay, all right, we'll go through these. I make a motion to approve resolution 23-59, correction to November 21st, 2022 journal.
Second?
Mr. Grumbles?
Yes.
Ms. Knapp?
Yes.
Mrs. Faust?
Make a motion to approve resolution 23-60, authorizing the senior human resources manager, Mike Kremnitzer, to enter into an agreement with the Ohio Health Corporation for an employee assistance program for eligible township employees.
Second.
I'm sorry, second. I've been second.
All right, we had consensus for the parade route.
Can I take vote on that? Mr. Grumbles?
Yes.
Ms. Knapp?
Yes.
Mrs. Faust?
Yes. We were good on the parade route. Okay, make a motion to approve resolution 23-61, approving a renewal application for electric governmental aggregation.
Second.
Mr. Grumbles?
Yes.
Ms. Knapp?
Yes.
Mrs. Faust?
Yes. Okay, now we need to enter into executive session. So I make a motion to approve resolution 23-62, enter into an executive session pursuant to revised code 121.22G8 for the purpose of considering confidential information related to the marketing plans, specific business strategy, production techniques, trade secrets, or personal financial statements of an applicant for economic development assistance that is directly related to a request for economic development assistance that is to be provided or administered under revised code 715, 5709.73 through 5709.74, and or revised code 715. The executive session is necessary to protect the interests of the applicant or the possible investment or expenditure of public funds to be made in conjunction with the proposed economic development project. Also, to consider the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, or compensation of a public employee or official.
Second.
Can't remember.
Mr. Grumbles?
Yes.
Ms. Knapp?
Yes.
Mrs. Faust?
Yes. Those invited to attend are Ms. Bonnie, Mike Kremnitzer, and Silas Bowers. Anybody else? And Mrs. Kraft.
How about Julie?
And legal counsel. There we go.
Anybody else want to come?
right.
We're gonna close the.
Is there, can you, Val, can you turn the recorder on? Thank you.
Okay, I make a motion to approve resolution 23-63, return to regular session.
Second.
Trustee Faust?
Yes.
Trustee Grumbles?
Yes.
Trustee Knapp?
Okay, I make a motion to approve resolution 23-64, meeting adjournment.
Sorry. Trustee Faust?
Yes.
Trustee Knapp?
Yes.
And Trustee Grumbles?
Yes.
Meeting adjourned. Okay, we're gonna take a, do we need to take a 5-minute recess?
Which one?
Yeah, we're gonna take a 5-minute recess and then we'll start.